And we're back with another Let's Play The Last of Us.
Good way to start it out.
This will be one of the most interesting intros of our series, probably. But I'm here joined with my brother Josh.
Hello.
And in case you haven't watched our other videos, we will be kind of discussing things out of order, so there will be some spoilers here. It's kind of intended for people who have played Last of Us before and kind of want to revisit it again. But with that said, I would say let's get started, but we're kind of in the middle of things already. But if you didn't watch the last episode, we finished going through Billstown, and now we've traveled over to Pittsburgh, where we've clearly been ambushed.
This part became infinitely easier once you get a upgraded sniper rifle, by the way.
I'm seeing that right now.
Like, it's supposed to be an intense battle, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Like,
I'm bragging that I'm getting killed.
I like how you're like, oh, it's not intense, and it's like...
That dude came out of nowhere.
Alright. I think that's the last of them. You okay?
No, that's The Last of Us.
I was actually just thinking that.
You know how like there's like that kind of internet meme of Joel saying, Ellie, I guess we really are the Last of Us, or whatever, and they never say that in the game. Well, that was probably the closest they get.
True, yeah.
That's the last of them. It's probably the closest they get to saying it.
I'm still laughing at that guy coming out of nowhere.
This part's easy. Once you get the upgraded sniper. And never mind this guy flanking me right here.
Yeah. Once this guy just decks me in the face.
That sounds like me anytime I ever brag about anything in my life.
I just failed at opening that door. Much like if I was trying it in real life.
I get, like, the point of these kinds of scenes, but, like, I remember, like, when they really started becoming prominent in, like, say, like, at least for me, like, God of War series, where you had to, like, struggle to open things like chests or doors or anything like that. And I was always just like, I hate mashing the button.
Yeah.
Just seems annoying to me.
This scene is intense. All the dead bodies they've been stripping all their gear from. Big stack of clothes and shoes.
Yeah, honestly, I forgot about this little scene.
I think that moment, like where Joel just realized how big of a mistake it is that he came into Pittsburgh, is cool, because he's now like, these are the kind of people we're going to be dealing with the whole time we're in here. I'll tell you, the smoke bombs are the item that I use the least in this game, and I don't know why.
You're not a smoker. That's why.
Yeah. Interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because, you know, for Joel, like, you know, it was kind of hinted at a little bit earlier in the game and things like that, but it's, you know, this is kind of like the area of the game where you start to realize, like, more of Joel's past.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, what a bad situation they're in because
he's done it to other people.
He's been one of these guys.
Yeah. He's been these people that have ambushed and murdered people.
Yeah, so now he's on the flip side of it.
I think Pittsburgh is the first area that you really get to see some of the gruesome kind of people in this world. Because these hunters are way worse than any of the guys you ran into before. Like in Boston, you really just dealt with like dirty cops, so to speak, like trying to like take you down and stuff. This one, it's like you're really fighting people that are awful human beings.
Yeah, and this goes back to the question I asked in a prior video about which is, would you do? Would you stay in the quarantine area or would you venture out? And if you know that this is kind of what the humans are going to be like out of the quarantine, then, I mean, is this worse than the infected?
And I feel like the answer, I didn't have a good answer before. Kind of gave you like a in-between answer, but I feel like when you really put it that way, I think this is the last desperate choice, is to be out here like this. Like, you'd want to be in the quarantine zone rather than with these people. Which is why Joel probably has been in the quarantine zone so long.
Yeah, because it's almost like the people at this point in the game that you encounter are worse because, I mean, they're consciously doing these awful things, right? Whereas
Right.
like the infected, it's like, yeah, I mean, they're monsters essentially, but I mean, they're not like knowingly doing it. I mean, you would assume that their brain has been taken over and they're no longer in control of themselves.
They're predictable. Like, the real people that are awful is the humans, and they kind of hinted that. I think we talked about in an earlier video a little bit too, with like in Bill's Town, about how like the people are the real enemies of the world, not the infected. The infected are just like, it's almost like a wild animal. Like, I can't blame a tiger for killing something.
I like all the clipping of the leaves through Joel.
Yeah.
There. Like, this plant is.
Then Ellie moves to hide with me.
I'm assuming that Naughty Dog did not really intend for you to hang.
Yeah.
Like maybe behind one of the cars instead.
Well, it's funny too, because the first couple times I played this area, I always fought these guys, and I learned if you sit this corner in particular, if you sit over here, they will walk straight past you, not notice you at all, and they walk out of the zone. Like, then you can explore this area without them. So it's much safer, and it saves you ammo and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, on New Game Plus, I mean, you have all the upgraded guns, right? But you don't have. Do you start with any ammo for the upgraded?
No, you get
weapons?
the normal ammo. So, like, if you pick up a pistol, for example, it would be the normal amount of ammo that you would have in that gun if you picked it up normally. The only difference is that you'd have, like, a lot of guns, a larger clip capacity now.
Right. So, like, what's a gun like you wouldn't have right now that you have?
Well, no. I mean, all the guns that I have, you pick them up at the normal parts in the game.
Okay.
It's just when you pick them up, they're now upgraded. So, like,
Okay.
I don't have the flamethrower yet,
Got
but
it.
when I pick up the flamethrower, I'll already be upgraded.
Got it. Yeah, so I guess that's what I was wondering. Were you able to run around with say like another weapon that you didn't have yet and it just had zero ammo, or but
Gotcha.
I mean it makes
I
more
understand
sense.
what you're saying now, yeah.
Yeah, it makes more sense that you would just get it as you go through the game.
I think the first game I really experienced New Game Plus that I at least remember was like the Arkham games.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think back because it's funny. Like a lot of times, like New Game Plus, I think it's like a really cool idea in theory. I don't know that I really take advantage of it a lot because even like when I replay a game, like I'll just do like a brand new game.
Right.
So it's like I really don't get that advantage of it.
Whereas I feel like I'm opposite. I criticize like the Tomb Raider series because you can upgrade the guns and there's these trophies for fully maxing out your weapons, but you have to play the game past the campaign, and I'm like, if it's not a New Game Plus, I feel bored doing it. So it's like I would only want to upgrade my weapons if it's in another playthrough. I love Ellie's joke book, by the way. That's why I stopped here. She has a couple points in the game where if you stop, she'll tell you all these like very corny jokes, and then they go farther into it and left behind.
Mm-hmm.
What did they use to drink with?
Dixie cups.
Cups. Dixie cups.
So corny.
I walked into my sister's room and tripped on a bra.
I use this joke all the time now.
It was a booby trap.
Joel would be
The book
disappointed
just fell on
in
my
you.
head. I only have myself to blame. Or wait, I said it wrong. Hold on, let me read it again. A book just fell on my head. I only have my shelf to blame.
It's so bad.
Ruined it.
Classic dad jokes, but it's ironic that it's coming
What
from...
is the leading cause of
daughter.
divorce in long-term marriages?
Yeah, and the dad is the one groaning.
Yeah.
A stalemate.
That's awful.
You're awful.
Do you even understand what that means?
Nope. Doesn't matter. That's it. That's all I got.
This bookstore coming up is another section that if you sprint through it, you can avoid all the fighting.
We'll get there.
But it's very tricky to do, and the first time I thought I did it on my grounded playthrough, and then I turned around and all the guys were just behind me, like on the other side of the building.
Yeah, cause I'm like thinking back like about what you just said, like with the Arkham games, and like with Arkham Asylum at least, like that was the only one that I did like everything except for like I didn't do some of the challenge, like the combat challenges,
Right.
or whatever. Cause I found like the combos, like getting those really high combos for the points was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But like I collected all the Riddler trophies and things like that. But it's like I don't ever remember going back through the game again with that save.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if Arkham Asylum had it. It might have started with Arkham City. And that
Okay.
one I actually 100%ed, which was intense.
Yeah, see that one I didn't do because like at that point they made like they like tripled the number of
Yeah.
Riddler trophies, and I was
I had
like,
to use a YouTube guide for it.
Yeah, I was just like no. I was like I'm not gonna do all that.
And I also had to learn how to do those combos you were just talking about because those are hard.
Yeah, and so it was like it was like a thing where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do what's really fun. That situation right there is interesting because, you know, I don't know if we talked about this earlier in the series or not, but it's interesting to me, like, and I get it from a gameplay perspective. It's really nice. Like I know that we talked about like with the guys like having like the very limited vision of you standing right there, but like right there, like he was literally like pretty much right up on Ellie, right there, but he didn't see us.
Right.
But it makes sense from a gameplay standpoint because it would be like kind of crappy if
Your teammate,
your AI
disqualifies
teammate,
you, yeah,
like trips you into, especially like how we've talked about, like there's like just like a on-off trigger for being in stealth or not,
right,
and it would suck if your AI did it.
yeah, for sure.
But it also, from a like believability standpoint, is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. And I feel like most of the time they're pretty good about making sure that if you're in cover, Ellie is too. But yeah, there are times when it's not perfect. Man, the upgraded bow is just awesome. The range on it's insane. And it's like, if you're in stealth, a single shot.
Yeah, bows have become a lot cooler to me in games than they used to be, for sure.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit with like the Tomb Raider, how this year Tomb Raider and this game had it, and it was big.
Right.
And I agree.
And I feel like they just kind of figured out how to make bows more fun. Because, I mean, you think, like, naturally, like, a bow is a slower, more precision weapon.
Ooh.
You know? So, what happened there?
Any guy that's in a red coat is the guys that have Molotov cocktails, so I suppose it's supposed to believe that I shot one of the Molotov cocktails and it
Oh.
exploded.
Interesting.
I have the flame arrows unlocked.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't remember there being any way to attach any flammable device to your arrow, so...
Yeah, the way
Did
to
you
sneak...
literally, like, shoot the Molotov in his pocket?
Like I was saying before, if you run to the left here, there's a staircase that leads to the second floor. You can technically run straight out the back door and not fight any of these people if you want, which is crazy. Like I said, I did it once during the grounded campaign, but I didn't know exactly how to do it. So I stopped once I got out the room thinking I was safe, and then they just came and charged me all at once around a corner.
Yeah, I remember in my playthrough of this game, like, this section is... I mean, there's a ton of guys.
Yeah, it's hard to stealth at all.
Yeah, especially, like, since, like, once you mess up that stealth, it's, like, done, and it's, like... It's not super clear, like, where the kind of the boundaries of the area are. So
Yeah.
I remember, like, I had gotten out of stealth, and I was like, oh crap, and I started, like, running to, like, try to find a safe area, and I just ran into the next big trigger point.
Yeah.
And then there was, like, even more guys, and I was like, oh god. Because, I mean, this game is not really set up and designed for you to be, like, able to handle tons of guys at once.
No matter what playthrough it is for you, like, it's hard if you get overwhelmed with people.
Yeah, it's meant to, like, you to be kind of moving or funneling people into more advantageous situations.
The other
for
thing
you.
is like, you never have enough weapons or enough bullets in a single weapon to be able to, like, just do a section with one gun. Like, you're not gonna be able to shotgun a whole section. Like, in the middle of shotgunning, you'll realize you should switch to your pistol because your ammo is getting low. Ooh, he almost saw me.
Yeah, I actually saw the Molotov on him that time. I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, shoot an arrow into him.
I forgot to check the bodies outside to see if any of my arrows stayed with them too. Arrows are the best way to stay stealth, because you can stealth at a range.
There's so many guys right there. Ooh. Don't worry, he can only see 2 inches in front of his face.
Well, I'm gonna get triangle before he gets alerted. Where'd the other guy go? There he is. This is probably the most I've fought on the ground floor before. Usually I'm upstairs by this point.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, like, we had, like, a whole pile of people right there, and we still, like, there's several guys still in here.
Yeah, you'll see one down here, a couple upstairs still.
Yeah,
you think
I mean,
you're
there's
cleared, and
just
then, like, four
so
more
many
guys pop up.
And if you're not paying attention, and being super careful, like, I mean, it's so easy in this area to kind of, like, accidentally stumble across somebody.
Yeah. That was a nice trick I pulled there with the glass bottle. Bring them over and then choke them out.
Yeah, I can tell you, like, with the exception of a few times with the clickers, that's something I did not utilize a ton, which I probably should have.
That's little tricks you've picked up from playing it so many times. Like, and also, like I said, like, I know I keep referencing it, but, like, once you play a survival playthrough and you realize how hard it is to get through that, you have to learn all the tricks in the book to stay alive. The only one that I don't use is smoke bombs, and I don't know why, because it makes stealth easier. There's only one section in the game that I use, and it's at, like, the end of Pittsburgh. See, there's 3 guys in here. And I've already gone through a bunch. 4.
That reminds me of, like, whenever I see smoke bombs in a game, it reminds me of when we used to play, like, Rainbow Six 3,
Yeah.
I think it was, and we would just, like, the garage level, and we would throw the smoke bomb and just stand in the smoke and just clear out the whole garage.
Oh, well, I guess I snapped that guy's neck.
And, like, we had it down to, like, a
Yeah,
science.
it was a science, yeah. Throw a smoke bomb right there, and all of us would carry a smoke bomb, so that way we had the right amount.
Yeah, that terrorist hunt on there, it's like, alright, there's going to be a guy here, 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 and here. And I think that was back before like the terrorists were like somewhat randomized.
Yeah, I think they were all
that
in the
kinda
same spot, unlike Vegas where it got really like intense. The AI.
Yeah, so it was just like I always think of that when I see like smoke bombs because like that was like the main game I use smoke bombs. It's like one of us would carry smoke bombs, another one would carry the incendiary grenades.
Yep. Endure and survive. It's a cool little tagline they use throughout the rest of the game. Endure and survive.
At least sure does do a lot of reading throughout the game.
Does a lot of what?
A lot of reading throughout the game, like
Yeah.
comic books, you know, kind of male porno,
Yeah.
the joke book.
Ooh, get a little pipe. Oh, they're even talking about her being over here.
There you go. I guess you're limited in what you can do. I mean, it's not like you're gonna pick up like a Game Boy or something in the apocalypse. So, books are probably a pretty solid form of entertainment.
I used more arrows than I would have liked in this section because there's an upcoming part in the hotel that I feel like I arrow a ton in.
Not anymore.
Yeah. There's another joke section there, but I'm just going to move on. It's taking too long to trigger. Yeah, this is the section where you can run out. And I stopped here. And what you're supposed to do is run up those stairs and out. And then they won't follow you.
I don't know what it is, but I'm always like a sucker for like graffiti in games. I know that's kind of a weird thing, but like whenever like somebody like graffiti like writes on a wall, like I mean that always like pulls me into that like kind of. Cause I mean usually it's in like a apocalyptic or like a sci-fi or you know like maybe like a cyberpunk kind of setting and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and I also love like with that graffiti, and I missed the other spot a minute ago before the bookstore, but they have a really cool section like where they talk about like the graffiti, and you see they're like give us our food, and Ellie's confused of why didn't they give them their rations, and Joel kind of goes into, well, you know, a lot of times there's not food and the people stash it for themselves and stuff, so it really goes to show the struggle that happened in Pittsburgh of how these hunters came to power was that the police and the people, unlike in Boston, there wasn't enough to go around, so the hunters just took it away from the police and like just killed them and literally took over the city.
So we see that sign there, and we see like you know the kind of the road signs to some of the Pittsburgh locations in it. It reminds me that we don't go to Heinz Field in this game.
Oh, well, that's because Bane blew it up in Batman.
Yeah. That's absolutely, it's got to be it. There's no other explanation for that.
That's 100% it.
Cause I mean, even though we kind of joke about that, like, I mean, that is something that, like, say for example, like another apocalyptic game, like Fallout. Like, I feel like a big part of Fallout is, like, you go to various landmarks that are distinctive of whatever region you're in or whatever, and they don't really do that a ton in this game. I mean, obviously in Boston a little bit, but I mean, so much of Boston is its landmarks or whatever. But I mean, it's like it's less so in Pittsburgh. You know, like you don't really like go to like some of the like big things. That it's more so just you're moving through.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and I think that's kind of interesting because, I mean, again, it's not so much, you know, like the pointing out, like hitting you over the head with, yes, we're in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
it's more so like, okay, none of that really matters because this world is screwed up at this point.
Yeah, we just see like the Capitol building in Boston, but we don't do anything like Fenway or something. And then in here, we just see the Pittsburgh Bridge. Like, it's not like stereotypical, like, let's hit places people know in Pittsburgh and Boston.
Right.
And I like that. Like, that's a good point you made about that.
And I guess in Fallout, they kind of need that more because, like, it's kind of like landmarks for, like, quest indicators and things
Yeah.
like that. Whereas, like, this, it's more like, you know, I mean, you're heading down one path, kind of
Yeah.
here. I mean, it's more open than, say, like, previous Uncharted games to this were. And I know, like, they kind of opened it up in Uncharted 4. But, you know, but it's still, like, largely, like, okay, like, I mean, there's one generic way to go
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah, it's cool how they do that. Like, you can spend so much more time exploring the areas in this game than you can, like, the Uncharted's before, and like you said, and then Uncharted 4 opens it up a little bit because you can see a lot of similarities of once they made Last of Us, they started emulating that style in Uncharted, and I know part of it is because, like, Druckmann took over the Uncharted 4 games.
Yeah, but I mean, it is interesting because, I mean, you can see how they learn as a
Oh, for
company.
sure. I'm not saying it's
between the
entirely
different
no
things.
Druckmann, it's also just the game makers, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they build off of, like, they improve the engine. They learn from, you know, things that they did right, things that they struggled with. And the cool thing is like, once they have, like, an innovative feature in their game, well, now it's like, okay, like, we don't have to spend, like, so much of the development cycle developing that. Like, now we know how to do that. So
Yeah.
now we can, like, kind of build on the next piece of it, but we can already use that as
Right.
an element.
It probably was a pretty nice hotel.
So kind of just looking over the clock, we'll go ahead and finish this building, but then kind of like the next safe area after this, we'll go ahead and stop the video for this time. Yeah, I mean, we can actually let's go ahead and stop here because I think this is going to be a
Yeah, this next section is pretty long.
pretty long section, and we're looking at it at 28 minutes now. So we'll go ahead and wrap up here and pick up here for next time. So please, if you do like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be continuing on the Last of Us Let's Play. But we do have the Bloodborne Let's Play as well as others. We also have reviews and a video series on introducing games to kids. So until next time, we'll be signing off here.